I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in this video, we're going to give you everything you need to know about how to create the absolute very best possible start in Rise of Kingdoms by creating a jumper account. This guide is going to give you everything you need to know, and we spent a lot of time doing research on this, talking to groups that are doing this process right now with the very best method possible. So stick around for everything you need to know to get the literal best start in Rise of Kingdoms. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today, we're giving you everything you need to know about how to create a jumper account. And for those of you who are watching one of my videos for the very first time, I've got just about 1,000 days played in Rise of Kingdoms. Our videos have been viewed over 38 million times for Rise of Kingdoms content. And even still, I spent hours talking and interviewing with people going through the jumper process right now in 2021 with the latest and greatest method to give you the very best approach. And I want to give a special shout out to the Final Order because I spent the most time talking with them for sure, and they were a go-to for me, answering a whole bunch of questions exactly when I had them, so thank you. The information for them will have been flashed up on the screen, and also links to the jumper groups I spent the most time talking to are going to be in the description. Let me give you a sense of where we're going in this video. We're going to talk about why you create a jumper account, the technique for extra loot, the civilization you're going to choose, what you need to do with a jumper account, what you need to not do with a jumper account, which is almost as important as the things you do need to go and do, and how to find a really, really good group. Because people hunt for this jumper method for a number of reasons. I will make the argument the most important thing is finding a great group. And by the way, I'll make sure to remind you of this at the end of the video, but linked in the description of every one of my videos is my Discord channel, discord.gg/Chisgule. There is a group advertising jumpers, and you can find an amazing group very, very, very easily by joining my Discord server. But let's get things started with why the heck are you creating a jumper anyways? What is this, Chisgule, that you're talking about? A jumper uses a special item that new players get. It'll be in your inventory off to the side in the other section, I believe. And it will allow you to move your account from one kingdom to a very young kingdom. The kingdom, I believe, has to be younger than 10 days old. Now, I mention this because what a jumper approach does is you play an account for about 9 or 8 days, and then you jump to a brand new kingdom using this special item. And compared to the people that are just starting the game in that kingdom, right? They've got their brand new day one account. Your account is 8 or 9 days old. That in and of itself is a huge advantage for leveling up your commanders, for leveling up your buildings, for exploring caves to get extra loot. There is also a technique for extra loot that we're going to talk about actually right now. And by the way, just a quick reminder, if you want to jump to any part of the video that you're most interested in, use the timestamps in the description to get to the thing that you're most interested in. Now, previously, the reason that jumpers were so insane is that you could find a kingdom that was about to win their season of kingdom versus kingdom. Now, if you're a new player, this is basically where a whole bunch of kingdoms are going to battle against each other, and one or a few kingdoms emerge victorious and get a bunch of loot. As a jumper account, you used to be able to get that loot, which is pretty crazy. It was very advantageous. Thousands and thousands of gems, many, many, many gold sculptures and speed ups and resources and more. That doesn't work anymore. Unfortunately, the majority of the things that would give you extra loot with a jumper process no longer exist. But there is something you can do if you're a long-time player of the game and you want to create a jumper, or if you're planning way in advance for when you're going to do this jumper process, is you would basically create an account and let it sit for 30 days. And after an account has been dormant for 30 days, you can then log into that account as I'm showing you now. I'm going to pick one of these accounts. I don't know. This one looks fine. P.S. Chisgule from the future here. If you're getting value from this video, consider throwing a like on the video. It's kind of like giving me a high five as a thank you for putting this content together, and subscribing to the channel for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos designed to help you get value and smash your enemies. This is what you want to do for an account that is dormant for more than 30 days. You will get this welcome back screen, and you will have the option to begin a new journey in a new kingdom with extra rewards. So if you have some account that you don't log into for 30 days, you can then go to the details here and you can head to a new kingdom. Is this much? No. Is it something? Sure. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? Governors can tap the button below and begin a new journey in a new kingdom. We've prepared some supplies to you. It's not much. 5 gold keys, a teleport, 500 gems, but it is free and it doesn't require you to really do much to get it. So I'm going to hit go. I'm going to pick a new kingdom. And if you're doing this with a group, which I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend, as I said before, being in a good group is worth more to you, in my estimation, than just landing in your final kingdom stronger than most people and trying to find a group when you get there. These groups have hundreds of players, sometimes upwards of 1,000 players that are all working together in a jumper process. That's what you want to do. But I'm going to create a character in this new kingdom just to illustrate this process to you. Now, one of the first things you're going to be asked is what civilization you want to choose. I just want to cover this very, very briefly because this is important, and I think you can make a good choice here that'll set you up for success. If you want a detailed video about this, I'll have a card up in the top. You can check it out at the end of this video, but the civilization I would recommend to you to start is going to be either China or Britain. Now, the thing you're really hunting for in a starting civilization is what commander you're going to start with. You get this commander to start, and you'll have quests that give you more and more sculptures of the commander to make them more and more powerful. It'll give you a quicker start with that commander in Rise of Kingdoms. The reason I'm advocating Britain and China is because of their starting commander. I will make the argument that because you spend so much time battling barbarians in the start of the game, and you use that to level up other commanders and to get loot, that using Boudica, who's a decent all-around commander, although not really endgame viable, but gives you 20% extra experience when you battle barbs, she's going to be a really good choice for your starting commander. You would pick Britain. The other advantage is you get a little bit of training speed, and don't even worry about the special unit. Totally irrelevant for starting a new account and for this jumper process. The reason I recommend China is that Sun Tzu is actually a nearly endgame viable commander, except for, once you replace them all with legendaries, he's going to be epic. Also, the building speed is really nice at the start of the game. Super relevant to you. 5% building speed is good. The troop defense for all troop types is fine. And also the action point recovery is good. So China or Britain are the two civilizations I would recommend. And again, it is primarily for the commander. And you will get 100% free to play ways to switch your civilization later to get civilization bonuses and special units that will be relevant to you at that time. Of course, we've got a detailed guide all about that. For now, I'm just going to go with the civilization I generally recommend to folks, which would actually be Britain over China. Let me go through all the process of some of the basics and the tutorial, and then let me show you what you do next. Okay, I have just completed the tutorial, and I want to show you now the item that you're going to use to teleport to a new kingdom. It is this right over here, the beginner's immigration. Okay, move your city to the location of your choice one time in the outer provinces of another nascent kingdom. This is really important. You only get to do this once. You can never get one of these items ever again for your account. So you can always create a new account, and that'll give you the item again on the new account, but you only get one of these ever. Also, you only get 2 beginner's teleports ever. Beginner's teleport lets you teleport to any of the outer provinces of your kingdom. You can use that to be near your group, which I would recommend in the early game. But for the most part, being around your group is only sort of going to be relevant. Here's what you need to be doing at the start of your jumper process after you've gone through and you've done your tutorial. First things first, you're going to level up all your buildings to level 7. Level 8 and higher is beyond the point where you can still use that beginner's immigration item, so stay at level 7 for all of your buildings. Do not go any higher until you have used your beginner's immigration and gotten to your final kingdom. You're going to be running around the map using scouts to collect loot from caves and other sites. Here's a cave, for example. With medium loot, I could go and investigate. Courtesy of the Final Order Jumper group, they shared with me a list of all of the caves, and there are several different map designs. You can figure out which map design you're in by seeing where the caves are, and the spreadsheet linked in the description will give you access to the location of all of the very best caves. So you can use that if you'd like to make it a little bit easier to kind of scout your way around and find where the best caves are. I don't know who created this list, neither did the Final Order, who shared the list with me. This is something that's been floating around jumper groups, I think, for quite some time now, so thank you to whoever created that. And I guess if you can prove that you're the person who made it, I'd be happy to give you some credit down below. I don't know how you prove it. But anyways, the other thing you need to do as you're going around and scouting all this stuff is you want to go and you want to spend as much of your resources as possible at a building called the Courier Station, which I have not even built yet, actually. I need to level up my city a little bit to be able to actually do that. Essentially, what you want to do is convert resources that are in resource form, right up top, and buy things to convert them into token form. When your resources are in your storehouse, like they are up top on my screen, they can be plundered by other players above and beyond the limit of your storehouse. You also can't migrate to a new kingdom. You can't use that beginner's immigration item if you have more resources than the capacity of your storehouse. So yeah, you kind of want to spend some of your downtime gathering resources from the map, but you want to use all those resources, if possible, to convert them into tokens, because these tokens can come with you wherever you go. The open resources in your storehouse cannot. The other thing you're going to be doing is battling lots of barbarians. Lots and lots of barbarians, spending all of your action points, which is the green stuff you see under my profile picture in the upper left. In fact, I can point that out up over here. You're going to be leveling up your commanders as you go. That's really nice. You're also going to be collecting bone necklaces from an event called Lohar's Trial. Now, I don't know if the kingdom I'm in has that event yet. It looks like they don't. However, within the first couple days of a kingdom's age, you will get this Lohar's Trial event. They're going to drop bone necklaces. You want to battle a ton of those, because within bone necklaces is not only just extra loot, but also you're going to get a bunch of arrows of resistance. You're going to use arrows of resistance to level up your watchtower later on, so you're going to want to battle lots of barbs. And you also are going to get an item that lets you summon Lohar to fight him. Do not do that. During the Lohar's Trial, you want to collect lots of the necklaces, collect lots of Lohars that you can summon, but summon them later, because it also uses action points to battle the Lohars that are going to give you sculptures of Lohar, by the way, and that's a separate topic. But you don't want to use your action points for fighting Lohars when you could be using them to get more of the bone necklaces, right? So you want to collect lots of bone necklaces. When the event is over, then you summon the Lohars and you can fight them, which you can do after the event. That's one thing you want to be doing, is battling lots of barbarians. There also are going to be holy sites. And when you find holy sites on the map over here, you'll be able to battle the guardians of those holy sites. You generally do that as a team. That'll give you extra experience onto your commanders, which is something you should be doing. The final thing I want to talk about that you should be doing is going in and doing lots of research. You specifically want to do military research. Now, the funny thing is, I still need to level up my buildings a little bit more to actually gain access to the academy. So I'm going to do that now. I don't think you should be using any speed ups in this process. I just am, because I'm not actually going to be playing this account. I'm just showcasing how to do this stuff. Okay. I'm going to recommend that, because when you explore the map, you'll actually be able to find for free a bunch of economic technology. It will be gifted to you, that you focus entirely on military technology with your jumper, okay? So you start by doing just military technology until you make your jump to the final kingdom, because you should be able to get all of the other stuff for free just from exploring the map, which is pretty nice. Okay, here we go. I finally hit City Hall level 4. It's letting me build my academy. Now I can show you economic research. Skip it for now. You'll find that for free by finding villages. And military research, this is where you'll focus at the start. However, just important as the things you should be doing is the things you should not be doing. First and foremost, you really don't want to accumulate tons of resources up top because somebody might just attack your city. They'll figure out you're a jumper, okay? And they'll take your resources and kill your troops. It's really not the end of the world if that happens. I know people that have been through this process and they get hit and they lose a bunch of troops and they lose some resources and it sucks, but the majority of the benefit is not the resources, it's not the troops. It's honestly the progression of your commanders and being able to land in the kingdom you're going to land in with all the buildings already at 7 instead of having to get to 7. You have a really good starting point. So definitely try not to accumulate too many resources so you don't get hit. If you do get hit, not the end of the world. To avoid having too many of these resources, don't collect any of these quest rewards that the game doesn't force you to do because you're in the tutorial. Just let them accumulate. It's going to suck to look at that red icon that's like, look, you have all these rewards, collect them. It drives me a little insane, but just wait. Wait until you're in your final kingdom because they're going to give a bunch of stuff here, like resources that you're not going to be able to bring with you. You're just going to lose them, which there's just no point. You do want to collect your daily quest rewards, however. This is something you can do because you'll work your way toward a little bit of gems, gold key, if you're able to get these done every single day. Daily objectives are okay, but your ongoing main mission, side mission quests, you do not want to collect. Let those accumulate. The other thing you do not want to do, this is a huge mistake, is to use tokens. You're going to get all kinds of tokens for resources and goodies. Don't use them. Save them, okay? Save your tokens. If you crack open all your resources, you can't take them with you. That's definitely going to suck. The other thing you don't need to use is speed ups. No reason to use them at the start. Not until you've landed in your final kingdom. Save them up. You have plenty of time before you make your jump to your final kingdom to get all your buildings leveled up. Don't use any speed ups. The game will force you to for a couple quests, but other than that, just don't use them. That's just a part of the tutorial. I mentioned before, don't take your city hall past level 7. Don't take any of your buildings past level 7. You will no longer be able to use your beginner's immigration item. And the other thing you can't do, if you were considering spending in Rise of Kingdoms, is do a couple things. One thing you can't do, unfortunately, is to buy the daily special offer. The reason I say unfortunately is because you could have started potentially in a really old kingdom that has access to a lot of commanders over here and brought them with you. The game knows that you might try to do that. It's not going to let you buy the daily special offer until you're City Hall 8 or higher. Similarly, I thought it might be cool to start in a really old kingdom with an event like a Wheel of Fortune, which is obviously not available in this new kingdom right now, but you'd use the Wheel of Fortune to unlock some cool commanders that you could have them later on. That also is not a possibility. You cannot do things like the Wheel of Fortune unless you are above City Hall 7, which you have to be City Hall 7 or lower to use that beginner's immigration item. Now, when you are ready to use that beginner's immigration item, let me just show you how you do that. You're going to zoom all the way out on the map. You'll see there's a button right over here, the globe. You're going to tap that, and when you do, you'll get a kingdom list. You're going to select one of the other kingdoms that you want to go to. If I get a look here, looks like I can pick one of these other kingdoms. Normally, you don't go to an older kingdom, which is what I'm about to do. You'll go to the youngest kingdom. You'll be hunting for a new kingdom that just got started. It's like hours old is what you're going to want to do. However, just to show you how this works, I'm going to select a different kingdom. And you can see over here, I've got the option to pick different zones to teleport into. If you are working with a group, you'll know which zone you want to start in. Okay, so those zones are kind of numbered off to the side. You can see those over here. I'm just going to pick the first zone in here. I'm going to hit teleport. You can see here it's going to use my beginner's immigration item. My city hall has to be lower than level 8. All of my marches need to be at home. So everything has to be back in my city. I cannot be in battle. Okay, I can't have reinforcements in my city. You can always kick somebody out from your alliance center if you needed to do so. You cannot have more than 2 characters in a kingdom after the immigration has happened. You can't be part of an alliance, so you have to leave your alliance before you do this migration. The number of resources you possess has to be lower than the protection capacity of your storehouse. I'll show you where you can find that in just a second. And your immigration may cause the progress of certain events to reset. So claim all of your rewards in your events before you actually do this jump. I'm just going to hit teleport. Take me there, baby. Now, this is not an item you want to use willy-nilly, but because I'm just showcasing how this stuff works, this is totally fine. And by the way, if you're wondering what your storehouse protection limit was, you can go to the info section of your storehouse and ta-da, there it is. 300,000 for me, food, wood, and stone. When you get to level 7, obviously it's going to be a little higher. You can tap the info button over here to get a sense of what that's going to look like. Level 7 is going to be closer to 500,000 food, wood, 375,000 stone, and a little bit of gold protection. Okay. Now, there are things that can boost your storehouse capacity. I don't know if you'll have any of those in the very, very early game anyways, but this gives you a sense of where you would go to look to see what that storehouse capacity is and shows you how to use that beginner's immigration item because it isn't exactly intuitive. The final thing I want to talk about for jumpers that's going to give you just, honestly, above and beyond everything else I've shared, the greatest chance of success is to say, look, you really don't want to do this as an individual. You want to go as a group. Going as a group is going to give you a monumental advantage. Now, the reason I say that is that, just to give a little perspective, the group that I spent the most talking to, the Final Order, they've already got over 600 players. Probably by the time I'm making this, it'll be over 700 players that are going with them. They have many alliances worth of players that will all be working together. So if a war breaks out, who do you think is going to win? Is it the group that's already got 4+ alliances worth of players already working together? Or is it the group that's meeting each other for the first time and they only have like 50 players and that's just whoever they randomly recruited in their kingdom? Like, who's going to win? I think it's pretty obvious, right? The group that's going together is going to be the winner of that conflict. The other thing I'll call out is that eventually, toward the mid to late game, I mean, you need to have an organized kingdom, and a jumper group has a head start on that. Many of these jumper groups spend months planning, organizing, getting all the right people in place, creating a structure for where the holy sites are going to go, who's going to have them, what the council system is going to be, how the kingdom's going to be run. All of that is decided way in advance. And that is true of the Final Order, the group that I was talking to. And it just makes a huge difference, okay, to have all of that stuff sorted out. Some of the strongest kingdoms in the game started with a team that purposefully went to that kingdom together using a jumper process or just all started together, okay? And the final reason I'll say that it's important to go with a jumper group is that often these are the most experienced players that are doing these sorts of jumper groups. They're either trying to get a fresh start because they just enjoy the early game, and the early game is crazy, man. It's a lot of fun. I can see why you'd want to play that and have some fun with that for a little bit. But often, and this is the case with the group that I was chatting with a lot, the Final Order, they make it to something like KVK Season 3. They now understand what good would look like for the first part of the game, and they're ready to kind of make that happen. So they're coming with experience. And I mention that because if you're not an experienced player of the game, wouldn't you want to play with people that are way more experienced than you, that want to help level you up and bring you on that journey with them? Going with a group gives you access to get answers to all of your questions. So if you'd like to find a group to play with or get lots of answers to questions about Rise of Kingdoms, then join my Discord server, discord.gg/Chisgule. Link is in the description for all of my videos, and I have a ton of playlists designed to help new players to the game. So you might want to check out my beginner playlist, linked in the description of this video. Gives you everything you need to know. I have a 40+ minute video dedicated to teaching you everything you need to know about getting a really good start in this game, in addition to a full playlist that goes in depth on gathering and commanders and the whole 9 yards, technology, everything you need to know. I also have a jumper playlist. You're welcome to check that out as well. Link is in the description, and I may have a card up in the top for that. That is going to give you a whole bunch of videos curated specifically for new players that are going through this jumper process as well. If you found this video helpful, then do me a huge favor and consider subscribing and throwing a like on the video. You can always unsubscribe later, and by virtue of subscribing, you'll have access to daily Rise of Kingdoms videos designed to help you get value and smash your enemies. My videos have literally been viewed for more than 5.5 million hours of watch time. I mean, I'd like to hope that some of that has been helpful to folks. So consider that subscription. That's kind of like your way of giving me a high five. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Leave comments down below with any other questions you've got, and I'm sure folks will be happy to answer them.